recording. Hello, everybody. It's 12:30 in the Villages, and this is my favorite class. And no, I don't say it to all my classes. Yes, I do, but that's okay. We're doing King of the Road from the 1960s book today, and we have a handout. Some of you already have obtained this from me. Some of you know where to get it if you need it, and if you wait till Patreon, that's fine too. It's an easy one. This is an easy song. If you go to your song setup and you just hit song setup and play, that's a wonderful thing. So don't worry about doing all these presets. They are completely optional. And why do I do them? So that you learn how to push the buttons on your instrument. That's really what it's about. This was written and recorded by country singer Roger Miller in 1964. The lyrics tell the story of the day-to-day life of a hobo. It was Miller's fifth single, reaching #1 on the country chart, #4 on the Billboard Hot 100, and #1 on the Easy Listening chart. Among the band's personnel, I thought this was cute trivia, was a guy named Thumbs Carlisle. Thumbs Carlisle. And he is credited with the finger snaps.
Oh, for Pete's
On the
sake.
album. Yep. So Mr. Thumbs Carlisle, that was his job, was to just do the finger snaps. Some guy by the name of Unknown was credited with the piano, the drums, and the tambourine. So they must have just pulled some guy off the street and said, here's a tambourine, play. Who knows? Country music singer Jody Miller, no relation, she answered King of the Road with Queen of the House in 1965. I always thought Jody Miller was his wife or his daughter, and nope, no relation at all whatsoever. Jody Miller did Queen of the House. So if you want to answer to King of the Road, there you go. Okay, so I went to song setup, and it came up to Roadside Cafe, and I thought, this is going to be awful boring. So I started pushing the buttons. So Roadside Cafe, which is on the smaller instruments, it is your country full band. So just hit country full band at 120 beats a minute and go. All right, now I actually did Roadside Cafe, 120 beats a minute, rhythm preset or vintage #1. Now what that does is it turns the Orchestra Plus off. So I'm just stuck with a genie, excuse me, or a basic. And all that was a guitar doing some strums. So instead of the strums on the guitar, I went into edit style, which is where you actually touch the top of the screen and you get these white rectangles that show up that have your genie sounds, your basic sounds, and all of your Orchestra Plus sounds. Well, my Orchestra Plus, I've turned them off, so I've turned it off from this button. I could have turned them off just by going to Orchestra Plus 1 off, Orchestra Plus 2 off, just touch it and they turn them off. The genie was originally a guitar. I'm changing the sound to be the finger snaps. Okay.
Oh, I wondered.
Yeah, so how am I going to, so what did I do? I just touched the middle rectangle that said guitar, and I started scrolling until I found something that resembled finger snaps, and I found something that said castanets. Castanets.
Oh,
So you're going to change that to castanets, and you just scroll to the C's. And so now I still have auto bass on and I still have my drums on. When I play a C chord, this is the background I get.
Mm.
Sounds like the finger snaps, doesn't it?
Mhm. Mm. Mhm.
Okay. And vintage #1. Oops, I think I forgot to put on here. Oops. Hold on. Nope, that's good. That's good. Okay. Just a single guitar up on the top. Okay.
Cool.
So I had to add just a few extra things just to make it so that I actually had something to teach because it's a super simple song. So did you
Dawn,
hear
can
some of
I
the
ask a
things that
question?
I did to make some changes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dawn, what tempo were you playing?
120.
Okay.
120. Yep. So your country full band or go to your song setup. It should be in song
Yeah,
setup.
yeah, it's
Yep.
in there.
And all you have to do is actually just play top keyboard. You can change it to a bottom keyboard if you want. I did a transpose up, exactly the same place that Mr. Miller did it. So let's put in the presets first, and then we'll go through why I did what I did. All right, A1 is at the very beginning. Line 3. At the beginning of line 3, you're going to put A2. And in line 3, right before you get to the third measure, right over that C chord or right before that C chord, you're going to put A3. And I'll tell you why I did such a short little preset all by itself. Then you're going to play until you get to first, comma, third ending. Okay, they forgot to put a third ending in there. So it's the first ending should say 1, comma, 3. So the first time when you get to the end of the first ending, it's going to be A5. So you go back to A5. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot A4 and A6. The beginning of line 2 on the second page, A4 and A6.
Oh, yes.
Yes, at the G chord. And that's because your King of the Road has a chorus on it. It has country harmony, just for that little phrase. Then at the end of 1, comma 3, you have A5 and A8. Okay, and then I'll tell you why, because the fine is not going to be there. Instead of the fine,
Where's that? Oh,
instead of the fine, you're going to cross that out and you're going to put third time DS and fade. Third 3x, third time DS and fade. You're going to go back to the silly sign and fade out. Well, where's the silly sign? It's at the beginning of line 2. It's not there. You have to write it in.
I was just going to say,
The beginning of line 2. So you're just going to repeat those 2 measures. King of the Road. You're just going to keep repeating that until you fade out.
okay, you're talking about the second page?
Yeah, second page. Line 2.
Okay,
Beginning
that
of line 2 is where
DCD?
your silly sign. That's also
Okay,
where
DCD.
A4 and A6 are.
okay.
And I'll go through it slowly so you can hear where those changes actually come in. All right.
Dawn?
Second ending. Yep, go ahead.
on the second page, second line, second measure,
Mhm.
it says the fine there, but it also says that down below on the last line.
No, it does not.
It doesn't?
Nope.
Oh
So,
dear, my
nope.
eyes are going nuts.
Nope.
Okay, okay.
Yep. It says DC al fine,
Oh, that's
which
right.
is different. Yeah.
So cross
So
that
when
out
you-
and put that DS off fade. Or whatever.
No, you're going to cross it out. No, you're going to cross out the fine up here.
Oh,
So instead of ending the song there,
uh-huh.
you're going to repeat the last 2 measures and fade it
Okay.
out
And you're going
I-
to do that on A8, right?
on A8, correct.
Okay.
Your fade
When we
out is
go
going to
back
be
to
on
the silly
A8,
sign.
correct. That's
Correct.
the last time you play the song.
Correct. On the
Right
third
now,
verse.
second
Okay.
ending. Okay, see the second ending at the end of line 2?
Yeah.
Right after you play that C chord, you're going to put 2 lines. That's going to be like a little break, and you're going to do a drum solo. And then you're going to put A7. So when you do the drum solo, and you can do a whole measure of drum solo if you want,
Okay.
and then over the C note, the C eighth note for the word I, for I know, put your C chord in a box again, okay? I know you're already on a C chord, but if you do a drum solo, it's a no chord. So over that C note, you want to put another C in a box.
Dawn, can I ask you another question?
Mhm.
Same place, second line, you said to put 2 lines and
Uh-huh.
it's after the C chord.
Yep.
Okay, fine.
And then do it and put drum solo. Now, that's the same place you're gonna put A7.
I
So
did.
what
it.
actually is
It's
happening?
3
What
notes.
actually is happening from 6 to 7 is this. So now I'm gonna do a drum solo, which is a no chord with a fill-in. Go to 7, and then when I start transpose.
So after you play that C chord, you
Mhm.
want a no chord, and then you're going to A7.
Uh-huh.
Yes. You're
Okay.
gonna do a no chord with a drum solo, kick to
Yeah.
A7, so it's a transpose up, but it's a blind transpose up. You're not hearing it. If I did
Okay.
not do that, it would sound like this. Whoop. You just go right into it and it would transpose up. You can do that, but I think it gives it a little more drama to do a blind transpose, meaning you're going to do it on a drum solo.
So we have to manually transpose up?
Nope, you're going to put it in a preset.
Okay, all right.
You're going to put it in a preset so that when you kick, it's just going to go straight into that transpose because
Okay,
you're
I got
adding
it.
other things. It's not just a transpose.
Okay, I got it on the sheet. Okay.
Yep. It's
Thank
there on
you.
the sheet. Yep. It's there.
Okay.
Okay, now when you get to the
So are we
end of the page,
transposing?
go ahead.
What are we transposing up to?
We're transposing up 1 to C sharp.
Okay, thank you.
It just
Dawn,
goes
it's
up.
I had a phone call, so I missed where the A1 is in the beginning. Can you tell me quickly where A2, 3, 4, and 5 go?
Yep. Okay, page 1.
Yeah.
Beginning of the third line is A2.
Okay.
The third line right before you play the C chord in measure 3 is A3.
Okay.
Okay, now we go to page 2.
Yeah.
Second line. At the beginning of the second line is A4 and A6.
Okay.
The first ending is a 1, 3. It's also the third ending. And at the end of the first 3 ending, you're going to have A5 and A8.
Okay.
And then in the second ending, where you do your 2 thin lines, right, your double lines right after that C chord, that's where you're going to go to A7, where you transpose up. So the bridge transposes everything up half a step.
Thank you.
Then at the last line on that second page, you're going to play the G chord, and then you're going to put a no chord
Right there?
right there.
Okay.
So that every lock that ain't locked when there's no one around is on a no chord.
I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're going to go back to the beginning.
Back to the beginning, or back to the silly sign?
No, this is a DC, Alfine. The DS
Okay.
is something we wrote in just for the ending.
Okay.
Okay? So why do I have such a short little A2 to A3? That's just a
Because you
two-measure
had duet,
thing.
you had a duet or something,
Nope. Let me play it
or
again.
something.
Well, I could have done a no chord, but if I did a no chord, because remember, we have the castanets being our finger snaps, right? This is first verse. Now, right here, I ain't got no cigarettes. Technically, he does it on a no chord, But if I do it on a no chord, I lose my finger snaps. Because he still has the finger snapper going. Mr. Thumbs Carlisle is still doing his thing. So I created a preset that still had the drummer and still had the genie with the finger snaps, but took the bass out. Because I still wanted, I could have taken the drums all the way out too, I guess, to keep the finger snaps. So I'm actually going from no phone, no pool, no pets. So I still have my finger snaps. Then when I go to A3, it goes back to, and we're gonna glide today too. Now, A4 and A6, country harmony goes in here. So he's singing solo up until that line, page 2, second line. Now he's got country harmony going on. So that's a whole nother preset. So I'm going from 4-bit room. A4. Right? Just for 2 measures. Now I'm going to go to A5. Oh, what's going on? More stuff in the background, right? More stuff. I turned on my Orchestra Plus, but I don't have everything going on here. So I had to go into my Orc Plus, and I'm turning off some of the things in my edit style. So I'm turning off Orchestra Plus 1, which is the pedal steel guitar. I'm leaving on the fiddles. I'm turning off the honky-tonk piano. We'll add those back in later. And I'm leaving on Orc Plus 4 country guitar. That's all here.
Yeah.
So the second time, I'm just adding a few more things into the band. Not everything, but adding a few more things from my edit style. If edit style is the only thing you learn today, you're good. For those of you who don't have edit style, see me after class. We have plenty of instruments that do have it.
Dawn?
Yeah.
Oh, where did you, I guess I missed this or I didn't understand. You know, you have A5 there at the repeat.
Right. Right.
Do you go to the beginning?
Yes. Now I go back to the beginning for verse 2.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. I thought I missed something that you said there.
Nope.
Okay.
A5 is, you kick that in at the end of the first ending so that when you go back to pick up verse 2, you're on A5.
Okay.
It's a single guitar. I took the country harmony off because I just wanted to have, did I tell you to do that? Yes. But I have more stuff. I got the fiddle player and another guitar player coming in to join the band. But now it's just the singer with no chorus, just him.
Hey, Ed. I need sound.
Yes? Go ahead. Question?
I don't think she was talking.
Nope. Okay. I'm going to hit mute all, just so we don't have the distractions. You can unmute yourself if you have a question. So now I've got fiddle players and country guitars, and when I get to A2 and A3, you're just going to ignore those because now we're past those. So we're just going to play straight through it. I don't pay no union dues. Don't worry about changing presets. That was just for the first verse. And right here, now you have A6. What does A6 do? there's that country harmony again. So King of the Road, both times, is going to have that country harmony at the beginning of line 2. Then we go to the second ending, and now we're going to go to A7, but I want to do a blind transpose, so I'm going to do a no
That's our
chord
12:30 class.
and a drum solo. Kick to over to A7. And I kept on my harmony, but I also added in all kinds of extra stuff. I added in all my orchestra pluses. So now everything is on in my orchestra plus. I transposed up one, and now I'm also adding a lower tab, so I have another guitar player coming in to play chords.
Yeah,
I'm
Dawn,
just
can I ask
building.
you something?
Go ahead.
In my song setup,
Hmm?
when I look for it, it already gives me the country harmony.
Yes.
Am I ahead of the game already?
You can, what I would suggest is that if they've already got you on country harmony,
Yeah,
in order to make it a little different each time, turn
okay,
that off while you're playing, and when you get to King of the Road, push it back on,
okay,
okay? Then turn it back
Okay.
off when you go back for your second verse. That'll give you that illusion of single singer and your chorus. So yes, you
Okay.
can add that just with that
Okay.
one button.
all right,
Yep. Are you ahead of the game? Yes, but in order to give it a little more oomph, you might want to just do that one button, turn it on and off so that it makes it a little more real.
okay.
Yep.
Dawn, I have a question.
Go ahead.
When you just told Hal that, I was playing one song and I didn't hear the one part. So where would I have turned up the volume? On the left? Where it says style?
I didn't turn up volume. I just turned on more
No,
stuff.
you didn't, but in my other song, can I make it louder like you said push a button? Can I
Yeah.
do that?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
What part did you want to make louder?
well, I don't know what song it was, but I
Okay.
wanted to just make the volume louder in the second line.
Hmm.
What about her foot pedal?
Now,
I
you can
can
use your
go-
foot pedal for that, but it's going to make the entire organ louder.
Yeah, I know. No, I didn't want.
You
to
just
do that.
want part of your, you just want
Yeah.
part of something to be
Yeah, and
louder?
then shut it right off after the third line.
You can do that. Yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
Now, email me and let me know what song for sure, so I can
Okay.
go back and kind of check,
Okay,
and then I'll
Okay.
give you some good answers on that.
okay. Thanks.
Easy song. But what I'm doing is just building the arrangement, building the arrangement. But the most important thing I wanted to do was put in the castanets so that you had your finger snaps. Now, if you don't feel like doing that, there is a rhythm style that already has those in. Can anybody think of which one that is?
I don't know.
It's not Latin. I thought it was too. It's not Latin. I checked. It is a country. Nope. Roadside Cafe is the one we're on.
That has the castanets.
Not the castanets, but the finger snaps
Oh.
in the
okay,
background
castanets.
already.
Oh, all right.
Tennessee Tons.
Oh, yeah.
For those of you that have Tennessee Tons, your finger snaps are automatically there. Now, I'm going to slow it back down to 120, but now it's
Huh. What was the name of the rhythm?
Tennessee Tons.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And you didn't use that because,
Because I felt like using the Roadside Cafe because everybody has Roadside Cafe. Not everybody has Tennessee Tons.
Mm-hmm.
But you could have just used Tennessee Tons and played around with your basic Genie and your Orc Plus and just pushed some buttons. You could have just started. And I'm going to go to country number 1. Turn your basic and Orc Plus off because your finger snaps are actually in your drums.
Isn't there a sound for finger snaps?
Yes, but if you do finger snaps, it's something that you have to put over in your toy box. And guess what? then you'd have to do it every time.
Really?
You cannot change what's going on in your drummer. You have drummer 1 and drummer 2, but you cannot add and subtract sounds to your drummer. Good, it's a good question. So if I go to Tennessee Tons and just use the bass, turn off the basic, Genie, and the Org Plus, turn them both off, and go to category country number 1, no chord, I've got all my chords, my tabs turned off, I can just start with those finger snaps. Then I can do a no chord, because no chord keeps my drums going. So then instead of changing the whole preset for I ain't got no cigarettes, I can just do a no chord and then come back in with my C chord. If you're going to do Tennessee Tons, that's the way to do it. No, I didn't write out any presets for that.
Thank God.
Now,
Got that
right
part.
here is where you want to have your country harmony all set up so you can do that. Because that's the king of the road you want your country harmony on.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, if I wanted to just add some more stuff, I can push Genie and I can push some of my lower tabs. And now I can do verse 2. Whoops. And lots of gliding. Country harmony. So Tennessee
well-
Tons will work as well.
Dawn, can you turn up the volume on your finger snap?
No, because the drums, that's no. Unfortunately, your drums are as loud as they can go on Tennessee Tons. Now, if you need them louder, you have to then make everything else softer. So yeah, you if you want to do that, you can. But that's kind of why I just did it with, I used the ones I did. I used the Roadside Cafe, and because the guitar player was doing that same pattern, I used the castanets, which actually pretty loud. The problem is if I do a no chord on page 1, those all go away.
Okay.
So I turned off the bass and did a whole next preset just for those 2 measures. So my finger snaps are still going. And the finger snaps are, they're loud because they're castanets. But it gives you that illusion of the finger snaps, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, so either Tennessee Tons, it's in the drums, or you're going to put it into your basic Genie for your Roadside Cafe with your castanets. Did I just confuse you?
This would be fun.
Okay, I've got a question back here. Going into the second ending, yes? Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. It's for the whole second ending, correct? Because you stay on A7, you stay with your with all your big thickness as you've already transposed up, and so now you're going to play all of this. But what makes it seem like you are going to a new preset is the fact that at the bottom of the second page, right after your G chord, you're going to do a no chord, which gives it a little bit of a break. And then when you go back into the third verse, you're still on A7 with all the stuff going. But that no chord gives me that little bit of a break, so it almost sounds like I'm going into a new preset, but I'm not.
Dawn, do you only do the no chord on the second time?
Pardon?
Do you only do the no chord on the second time? Just
Nope, you only play that one part just one time.
Okay,
At the bottom of the page, you're only playing that bridge part one time.
okay.
So yes, it's going to be a G7, and then you do the no chord. Whoops. Play the right notes. And then when you go back to the third verse, you stay on that preset, but now you've got all the stuff going on.
Okay.
There's my piano player comes back
I
in.
love that.
Yeah, because that's part of your Orchestra Plus. And I
Okay.
pulled him for the first two verses. How did I pull him? With the edit style. I just turned him off. You just turn off Orchestra Plus 3. I just touch that and it turns him off. That's all on your sheet. For those, excuse me, I still have that tickle in my throat. So for those of you who are not sure or you've never used edit style, this is a good one to start with because the song itself is super easy. The song itself is just super easy to play.
Mhm.
All right, let's do the roadmap one more time, even though we've already kind of gone through it. Let's do it with colors so we know where we're going. All right, so the beginning of the song, I'm not even using an introduction. I'm just playing the chord and setting the mood. And you can just play that for a couple of measures. All right.
Did you play the chord or did you just play no chord?
I played a C chord.
Okay.
Got to play a chord if you've got the castanets going. If you do a no
Right.
chord, that's not going to play
Mhm.
because that is in. If you just do a no chord, you just have drums. All right, so you're going to play all of page 1. Page 2, the top line, and there's your first ending. At the end of the first ending, you're going to put a color. Where are you going back to? The beginning for your second ending. Make that the same color. Now we're going to do the second verse. Second verse, right before the first ending, if you want, you can put a colorful 2 and an arrow that jumps across and goes to the second ending. You go to the second ending, that's where you get to A7. Play to the bottom of the page, different color, 2 thin lines, and it says DC Alfine. So now you're going back to the beginning again for verse 3, which happens to be the same as verse 1.
Mhm.
So now you're going to play to the fine, but remember, it's not a fine anymore. Now it's a DS and fade. So you can have a different color, and you're going to do the DS and fade, which is at the beginning of that line. So just those last 2 measures, you're going to fade out. So instead of ending at your fine, you're just going to keep playing King of the Road, King of the Road, King of the Road until it fades out.
So Dawn,
You kick in A8 after the third time you play it, before you start doing your fade out. Yes, Susie, go ahead.
oh, that's what I was going to ask you. Where do I put A8?
It's at the end of the third time when you have 1,3,
Yes,
and then after the first time you play it, it's A5.
yes.
The third time you play it, you go to A8. That's when you go back to the DS and just keep playing those 2 measures.
Yep.
Because A7, remember, A7 is lots of stuff going on. So when you get to the end of the song, you want it to all quiet down again.
Mhm.
So
So A8, I guess you said the
A8,
last two
A8 is
measures,
just the DS and fade.
to 2 measures there,
Yes,
where the G chord is and the C.
correct. It's
chord.
just King of the Road, and it's just.
Oh,
a
okay,
single
that's all
singer.
that's played in A8 then, right? Yeah.
Go to A8 as soon as you get to where the fine is, then you kick into A8 and then just keep repeating those 2 measures on A8. And if you make
Okay.
a mistake, who cares? It's your song. Don't get too concerned with too many of the little details because remember, this is your song. So if you decide you want to fade out on A7, who cares?
Mhm.
It's your song. So all I did was build, 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 the transpose builds, adding more stuff to my Orchestra Plus and my edit style builds, adding more lower sounds builds, adding harmony builds. And then at the very end, I went right back down to one singer and just some simple things. But I needed
Dawn?
a separate preset because it needed to be transposed.
Mhm.
Hmm. Go
Oh,
ahead.
Dawn?
Yeah.
I can't tell if my microphone's on or off.
It is.
Okay, down at A8, you've got C, F sharp. Does that mean
Oh,
F,
my, that's a mistake. That's a mistake. Thank you.
C
Yeah.
sharp?
It should just say
Right.
C sharp.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's a mistake. I was typing so fast.
I thought I had to learn something else.
I have
Thank
a
you.
sharp
I
sign
made a
on
mistake.
mine.
Oh, made a mistake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the C sharp won't be in there if you go to
Yeah,
A1.
you've got to transpose up. You're going to go back to A1, but you're going to transpose up one to C sharp. So that little F in there, that was my fingernail catching an extra key. I'll go
I
back
don't
in and
have
change
enough.
it.
I have a sharp.
It's not. It's just transpose up one to C sharp.
Right, right.
Yeah, those of you who
That's
got
what
my
I
sheets,
assumed.
that's a typo.
Yeah.
That's my fingers doing stupid things.
So
Dawn,
Dawn,
Yeah.
are we staying with just the C, F, and G chord? No chord changes?
We are not doing any chord changes. That's what's
Oh,
Mm.
Stan, thanks for reminding her.
that's what's so
Wonderful.
cool about country
Everybody else is
music.
really quiet.
Country
Yeah.
music is pretty
Yeah.
simple on the chords. So I
Okay.
had to do something to make it kind of hard.
where do we glide?
Wherever you want to. Now, let's talk about gliding. Gliding is something that works with country guitars, trombones, fiddles. It only works with sounds that will glide. It won't work on a piano, it won't work on an organ, it won't work on vibraphones, but on an instrument where you can bend the string or bend the note like a trombone, you can glide. It is your left kick switch. If you kick that switch, it's going to detune all your melody. And then I touch the note. Now I'm going to release my foot, and it glides it right back up. So you have to do it. Kick, play the note, let go of the foot. And what I do is I actually lift my foot right off of the expression pedal so that I don't have this kind of stuff happening. So I lift my foot right off of the expression pedal, and then I kind of turn my knee over to the left, so I run right into that kick switch, play my note, and then release my foot. So you have to practice that because you don't want it to sound, you don't want it to be note, then glide down and glide back up, because then you sound like a drunken sailor. And you don't want to do it too many times. So which ones do you usually do it on? Usually it's the first note of the phrase or the highest note of the phrase, which in this case happens to be the first note of the phrase. And if you don't want to do too many. So again, if you wanted to do it for cigarettes, you would do it on the high note. Or you could just play those. You don't want to overdo it.
So wherever we would want to go,
Pretty much wherever you want
okay.
it. Yep.
Because I was looking on your preset sheet and I don't see it.
Nope. Gliding is something you just do by feel. And you
Okay,
do it wherever it feels right for you. Now, if gliding is going to be a hard part for you, skip it for now.
oh,
That should be like the last thing that you put in. but it will make you sound, if you go back and listen to Mr. Roger Miller sing this on YouTube,
Oh, that's
and he
good.
will glide, usually in those spots. I'm
Okay.
a man of means by no means. He glides on man.
Mhm.
And so if you kind of listen to where he glides, that would be a good spot for you to glide.
Mhm.
And that's just going to make it sound a little bit more authentic. But that
Mhm.
should be the last thing you learn. This is a good song to learn that,
Yeah.
though. Yeah.
Dawn, A5.
Pardon, Craig?
Craig, A5.
A5 is at the end of the first ending.
And thank you.
So that your A5 then goes back to the second verse. Yep.
On
Yeah.
the glide that I have is sitting on the right billboard.
You can use the one here, but I'm going to tell you something. It may interfere with your chords because you got to play chords and then come over here. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that's true. Is it,
that's
so is
if
it
you're
automatically
trying
on
to play
the?
a chord, you can do it. You can do it, but you got to make sure you get back and forth and do your chords. So to me, it's easier to do the foot switch to the left. Now be
Otherwise,
careful because I've got my foot switch to the right set up to kick my presets over. So when you do that, you don't want to bring your foot back too far and kick to a next preset.
Yeah.
You got to be careful with
doing
that.
it too much is sound whiny. Ugh.
Mm-hmm. No, and when you do it slowly, it's going to sound whiny. And if you do it faster, you got to make sure that you are getting the right sequence.
Yeah.
So it takes a little bit of practice.
Mhm.
So the right touch bar is the same as the foot pedal. You have to hit it first before you hit the note.
Correct. Correct. If you're going to use the foot, if you're going to use this, you got to play the chord first, and then you do this. Touch it,
Oh, you have to keep it on and take it off.
touch, play, lift.
Okay.
Touch, play, lift.
Oh, you make it look so pretty.
This song is actually more possible than some of the other songs to do that.
Yeah, because it's slower, right?
Because you can get that chord. The chords are easy. You don't have to really sit and concentrate on chords. Once you play that chord, you got to get your hand over here, touch, play, up. So yeah, if you have struggle with your feet, go ahead and try it with that right touch bar.
Good
call,
Don,
Don.
I don't know about that.
Good call, Don. Yep.
Would you do
Dawn.
that one more time?
Dawn.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll try it again, Sue. Susie, go ahead.
I think I haven't glided for a while, but I thought on the Grand Marquis or the Marquis, you just push the pressure down on the key.
You have a key glide on the Grand Marquis. Not
Yeah.
everyone has that. So if you've got a key glide, I do not have one on here. What she's talking about is if you press it harder, press, it'll do that. It'll do a
Yep.
glide. So you need to put
Yeah.
your key glide on, and you can do that on your Grand
Yeah.
Marquis.
Yeah, because you don't have to mess with your foot or anything.
Correct.
I
That
can
is
do it
correct.
on the marquee too.
Okay, you've got a key glide on the Marquis as well. Then you just
Yeah.
got to, it's that again, but you got to work on your
think so.
technique. You don't want to over glide. So you
Right.
press harder when you want that, when you want the glide. You just press
Right.
harder.
Well, Robert was playing a song one time. Oh my ground. It was-
Yeah, yep. Yep, so you got to be careful on that. But yes, the key glide will make it easier for you.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
So you're
So,
gonna do it.
And if anyone is interested in having an organ with the key guide, you could see your favorite PA.
Do we
And that
have
might
one,
and that
John?
would be Don Casanova. I have it too.
Oh, what's that first?
What I did.
I like the handwork.
I'm with you, Beverly. I like that handwork too.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah, you could actually try it on this right touch bar and try it because
Okay,
this song is not that hard to do it on. So
okay.
yes, Don, good call. Good call. Otherwise, you got to work that foot, and you got to make sure that foot comes off of your expression pedal because you don't want that expression pedal to go loud and soft when you're trying to do your glide.
By the way, what's your song for next week?
Next week we will do Leaving on a Jet Plane, John Denver.
Oh, good.
Okay, now be careful. Next week, Robert may boot us off, and I am going to have a little talk with him about that, because he's going to have Joe Fontesha broadcast his class at 1:00. Now, my whole thing is, why can't we do both?
Yeah, yeah.
They did 2 Zooms. They did your class and Carrie had a workshop.
And Joni and I
The
have
same
class
thing.
at the same time on every Tuesday. So
Right.
why can't we do both? So
You
I'm
can.
going to have a
You
little
can.
talk with him. Originally, he has decided that no, when we do Joe's broadcast, we'll just kill this class. I don't necessarily want to do that.
Right.
So
I
I'm
We
going to
missed
ask
a lot
him.
of classes.
I
Yeah,
know.
we,
I
yeah,
know.
we
So
have.
fair to you
Might
guys.
wanna
Why
bring
can't
that
we
up.
just go ahead and have Joe's thing a little bit later?
So, because Joe
1:30.
has his class, he's just doing a broadcast. That was the first question I asked is why can't we just move his backwards, move it down in time? Because he does a class in the store at 1:00.
Or here's another thing, Don. Why couldn't I know being recorded saying this? Why there's basically nothing on a Thursday? Why don't they do all these special things on a Thursday?
Because his normal class is on a Wednesday in the store.
Oh,
So he's just
okay.
broadcasting it. It just happens to
But
coincide
he did do
with.
it perfectly because when you had your Monday class, we had our class and then
Right.
he
Yeah.
had Carrie's
Right,
workshop.
right. So I'm going to ask if we can still do both. Okay.
Yes, good, please.
However, I might get overridden because I'm not the boss. Robert is the boss. So
Oh.
if for some reason it's not on the schedule, we'll deal with it this time. And if that doesn't case happen, and yes, we're being recorded, and I hope he hears this, I want all of you to email Robert if he decides to cancel this class next week Thursday or next week Wednesday. I'm sorry. Because you guys got
Absolutely.
kicked off last week.
I know, and
every
before
now and then
that
it's
too.
okay.
Yeah, I was
Why can't we
missing
have
everybody.
both?
Right.
I mean, Joe's great.
Joe.
He is, but I
Absolutely.
like the class.
Absolutely. I'm not dissing Joe at all. I asked if we could get it to be Joe's class a little later so that it comes right after this. So, we'll figure it out. Let's put it that way. It's not life or death. So we will figure it out.
Joe's class is not available to all of us though, right? It's not on Zoom?
Yes, it was, Janice. I was shocked.
No. He's got an in-store class that doesn't normally go to Zoom. And so
Oh,
Robert
oh.
wants him to broadcast one class a month on Zoom, which I think is a great idea because then, yes, the rest of us get the benefit of seeing Joe's class. Problem is it's the same time as our class.
Right.
Or it's a half an hour difference. His
That's
class is
not
at 1 and
fair.
this is at 12:30. So, I think we can work this out and just have both classes myself because they're both
Right.
going to get recorded and then whoever goes to one can pick up the other on YouTube or Patreon. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, because I'm not the boss, like I said.
So Dawn,
Go with the flow.
is there any possibility that you could just move this class till after his concert that day?
Or before. Possibility, but then we'd have to totally redo the website. We'd have to totally redo, and a lot of people would be used to, they're used to coming at 12:30. Yeah, that's a
But you
possibility too.
But you have a morning class on
Yes,
Wednesday.
I do. I have a morning class already.
Yes, right.
Hi,
Why
Mona.
should I have to change for one
Right.
class a month? We'll see what happens. It's not big deal. It's not life or death, like I said. We'll just go with the flow. But if in case it happens that this link is not up next week, that's email Robert.
How about giving us Robert's email address?
rroman@fletchermusic.com.
Oh, that's easy. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
All right.
Did y'all get your survey? I did. I sent it to
You
Dawn.
sent it back in?
Know how to
Good.
do it.
Good girl. Yep. Good girl. And remember, flash sale for all the Zoomies that call me to get themselves a fabulous fanfare. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, Dawn, what survey?
There's a survey. We do this every now and then. It's about the education that's been happening at Fletcher Music. We're trying to improve our Zoom classes, actually. So the survey is how many Zoom classes do you take? Do you take classes in store? What can we do to make your educational experience better? Do you have any ideas for us? So
Yes, you can reopen the Arizona stores.
I'm not sure if I've got off of the email list.
who got off the email list?
I'm not sure. I don't think I've gotten a lot of emails lately or any
Okay,
emails
then
from you guys lately.
now it happens every now and then. You get booted off, and I don't know why. I myself have been booted off the email list, so it's not like it's something that you did. You did not unsubscribe yourself. So I will put you back in today, Mona, okay? Just in case.
Yep, thanks.
Because it does happen to other people too. So, that every now and then, for some reason, you get unsubscribed. No clue it's technology.
Right.
Yep.
I think that was from John, wasn't it?
The survey, yes, the survey came from John.
Oh,
Mhm. Yep.
Dawn, are you going to do fingering today?
I am going to do fingering. Thank you. I was just getting there. We're at the end of class.
Been
And we will do
busy.
fingering next week. Hopefully next week, we will do Leaving on a Jet Plane. Sorry, we digressed there for a little while. For the rest of you that don't need fingering, thank you so much for coming. I love this class. You guys are awesome. And here's your fingering. Now, this one can be done more than one way. So if you don't like what my fingers are doing, there isn't better, or maybe your fingers will think of a different way to do it. Here we go. C5, G3, E2, D1, E2, F3, B5, G3, A4, G3, C1, 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 C5, G3, E2, D1, E2, F3. Check mark. G1, G1, B3, C4, D5, C4, B3, G1, A2, C5, G2, I'm sorry, let's do it the way we did it above. G3, E2, D1, E2, F3, F3, D1, B5, G3, A4, G3. Top of the page, C1, 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 E2, G3, or whatever finger gets there first. High G5, D4, C3, 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 A1. Second line, D5, C4, B3, C4. Second ending, C4. Check mark. C3, 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 C3. B2, A1. Watch this one. C4, A2, F5. I'm sorry, F1. And again, whichever finger gets there first. So it's C4, A2, F1. B3, 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 A2, G1, G1, A2, C4, A2, G1, G1, G5, G5, E4, D3, C2, A1. Now, this one is pretty much whatever finger gets there first. You can do C3, A2, you can do C4, A2. Let's do C3, A2, C3, A2, just be consistent. A2, G1, 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 B2, 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 D3, 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 F5, E4, D3. Super cinchy chords, easy song to play. The hard part is just making it a little more authentic. You're gliding, adding your country harmony to your King of the Road, and then transposing up, and also editing your style so that you can get your finger snaps. And that's just changing your genie or your basic sound to castanets. And then it just keeps those steady all throughout your whole song. Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Any questions?
That'll be fun.
This is a fun one. This is a fun one to play. You guys
So,
are
Dawn, for that glide thing, I have to see if I have the key glide. If I don't, I'll just do it the way you said.
yeah, no worries. Just there's several ways to
can't remember
glide.
if I do or don't.
Gliding is also not a requirement. It is an
Oh, I like it.
option.
That would be
Never
fun.
have to glide, but gliding will help make your guitars sound a little more real.
Whiny.
And if you listen to Roger Miller, he was a glider whenever he would sing glide. So if you go to YouTube and watch, and you can kind of see which notes is he actually swooping on. And then you can actually mark that in your music. I usually use a little arrow, like a little J with an arrow on the top, meaning that usually means to me that's a glide.
Okay.
And then just mark your notes if you want, or just do whatever notes you want.
Thank you, Nate.
Dawn,
Yeah.
say, I'm gonna use your presets, but say for song setup, when we use a song setup and then we look at your sheet, if something is different, I know like C sharp and things like that to add to, but the other things like, we can just add that in to our song setup.
Absolutely.
It's not gonna mess any sounds up or anything.
No, you can't mess anything up. No, because if you make a new preset, you can always go back and undo it. So that's what's cool too. Yep.
Yeah.
We're good at that.
Yeah, like edit style. With that.
Trust me, that time I did it 5 times and I haven't made a mistake since. Trust me.
Yeah, song setup is the easiest way to start. It really and truly is. A song setup, a lot of times I'll just go to song setup and play the song, and that kind of gets me into the mood of the song. And then I'll start thinking, okay, let's change this up. Let's do something a little bit different. And that's how most of my arrangements actually happen. I start with song setup. Because it's a great suggestion.
And you can't say, I know it'll have the intro in song setup. So say if you wanted to use the intro in the preset sheet of yours,
you could.
You just memorize that separately and put in the same tempo, and it's going to match up, you think?
No, you just add it to A1. Just add it to A1.
Oh, yeah,
And it'll match up to
It'll be
everything.
Fine. Just add it. Just add your introduction and save it to A1.
Right.
Yep. If you want your intro included, or because I am also doing press A1 down here for A8, you'd have to say take off intro as one of your things. The other thing you can do is don't put your intro into a preset, but mark your music. Use intro 1 or use intro 2. Just put a little note in your music, and that sometimes works for me too.
And then always take it off when you go to your next.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. Yep.
before you memorize the end. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. You guys are getting this preset thing really down pat. That's good. Because you're learning your buttons, and that's what this is about. It's about learning where things are so you can just spice up your own arrangements a little bit. You guys are the bestest. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.